He was there from the very beginning. But Mark Taylor originally designed Man at Arms. Here's an original version, the concept, presumably around 1980, because there was going to be a Robin and the Space Hoods toy line, which is a different thing. But it takes a while to cancel the toy line and then start a new one. So presumably around 1980, when Reagan got elected, I guess this is the first version of Man at Arms. As far as Robin and the Space Hoods, think of Brave Star, Cowboys in Outer Space. Okay, so here's what he says. Mark Taylor, I based Man at Arms on the Spanish conquistadors. I always wondered how these suckers had the nerve to do the things they did. They had to be ballsy beyond belief, no shit. Mattel's marketing team was really on me to incorporate lots of technology. Since Star Wars was still so popular, so I told them I could put high-tech gear on Man at Arms. I just read Piers Anthony's classic science fiction novel Sows the Rope, about a character who goes into a wasteland where superior civilization had once lived, kind of like Fallout. And he digs down, brings out their technology, which gives him a huge advantage over everyone else. So Man at Arms does that too. Okay, so here you can see the different designs for Man at Arms. Here he is in color. And here is more of a brown pattern. You can see the armor's rearranged. Here there's a dissolving of the green, more like green, brown, and gray. Here the armor's rearranged. You can see he has no mustache, but obviously he gets a mustache later on because of the cartoon. And here's the flag, and yeah, the armor's rearranged differently here, but that's definitely a prototype. Here he is with this kind of a design. Looks a little different from the comics, right? Now, this is the first time they meet, and he's got a cape, but obviously the cape is removed. And this is the first time they talk to each other. So this is during the post-apocalyptic Eternia, which was explained to originally have technology, but didn't have technology. That's amazing. So here we have Man at Arms. It wasn't until we get to the more like DC comic style that revealed to be the Tila is the daughter of Man at Arms, which kind of leads us more to the Filmation version. And this is what we learned the name Duncan. I was always confused about Duncan or Man at Arms. I always thought, what I found odd about it as a kid, when you meet your teachers from kindergarten, first grade, second grade, right? You call them by their last name. So Mr. Johnson, Mr. Jones, Mr. Chavez, but never by their first name. You don't do that till you're an adult, right? But you always see that person as Mr. something. And so Duncan always seemed like a personal name that adults would call each other, right? But Man at Arms was always Mr. Johnson, Mr. Mickelson. So Man at Arms, for whatever reason, they gave him a mustache to give him that seniority, I guess, because all through these, there really isn't much of a difference in how he is. He's always messing with technology. He always looks a little different. Far less patience for Orko's antics when Adam's sort of power was to transport it 30 years in the future. Before he was killed, Man at Arms had the foresight to hide another time travel device. Well, he's always thinking of something. And in the newspaper strips, there's an interesting thing here that he developed a romantic relationship with Lady Miranda, an ambassador from another kingdom. So what I found interesting was that Man at Arms never had a girlfriend, so this is the only girlfriend he ever had. Here is the, I guess it's John Cipher played this Man. This Man at Arms is pretty good. I'll tell you what, the characters were true to themselves in this movie, but just the plot was terrible. Now we flash forward to the 2000s. Man at Arms is very more serious, less jokey, but he's very much the same as he doesn't sound like an old man as much, right? But he has Fisto is his brother, or they call him Battle Fist in the toys. So the Fisto we know in the old comics is actually Man at Arms' brother, who deserted his post. So there's a little bit of history there. Decker was his black dude with dreadlocks on Orcas Island, was his trainer. So he had trained alongside King Rand or Captain Randor. He was there during that battle, that final conflict with. So you could barely see him there, and there is Captain Randor and Stratos, and you see all these guys geared up. There's Kronos, there is Keldor. Uh, Evil Lynn should be in here, I think. Oh yeah, she's right there. So this was the battle against, for the power, and so Man at Arms had a very good backstory, being one of the chess pieces in that. One thing to note is that Gary Chalk, who does the voice of Optimus Prime and did the voice of Man at Arms, also was the '90s He-Man. So it's very interesting. I thought that was a very good link to the two things. And also note, for the comic books, Man at Arms had a good arc here. Skeletor was trying to breach Castle Grayskull using a dimensional transporter, kind of like how he met the original Trapjaw, but in doing so, he meets an alternate Man at Arms who has no hand. This guy comes from an evil universe where He-Man's an evil dictator, robot, faker, I guess. So one goes through one universe, one comes out. So there was an alternate Man at Arms. That's what this was about. It was a very great dark story that introduced the Horde for 2000X. Now, in the mini comics from 2008, there was a final battle, and this is part of the mini comic collections. Great, fantastic final battle art. But in one version of this, and you got the kings coming back, everybody's coming back. In one version, Duncan says, you can break their control, or I can break your neck. Clampchamp kills Duncan. He kills Man at Arms. And that was it. So it's like, oh, Father, you have, like, Teela, you do your mother and me so proud. This was the way it ended here. But in trying to defend Eternia from outside forces, Man at Arms and Roboto just, set up, repurposed as his spacesuit, try to stop a super laser weapon from destroying Castle Grayskull, I guess. And he gets turned by Skeletor into this slime pit soldier. And in trying to kill Prince Adam, he does the wrong thing. So he's working for Skeletor, but obviously things don't work out. He's, it's like you're weak, pathetic. So he's trying to, he's under Skeletor's influence. Maybe he was disappointed in Adam, but he had a charge to keep. And so eventually Adam overpowers him. When the time came for the final battle between He-Man and Skeletor, all these armies of the dead rose, including King Grayskull. And here you see, he says, Teela, you can't die, my baby girl. Us old-timers have made a real mess of the world, haven't we? And mothers, if the universe survives this night, the next world belongs to you. I'm a man of science, not magic, but I picked up a trick or two along the way. So he must have made some deal with the sorceress. You children have done enough to pay for the sins of your fathers. And so he says, I've been prepared to trade my life for yours since the day you were born. Live, Teela. And I thought, you must live. So this was a better ending for him than what happened in the mini comics. In Revelation, he was kind of half a person. Now he was the same character he was up to a certain point. And then when he told the king, or Marlena actually knew that Prince Adam and He-Man were one and the same. And he told the king, I have to tell you that the two are the same. And King Randor cast him out of Eternia, banished him, and if he ever came back, he would be executed. What the fuck? So Man at Arms is not who he was anymore, and Teela's so empowered, she's fucking Captain Marvel, but that's how this one goes. Half a Man at Arms. In the newer cartoon, of course, Duncan worked for Cronus, Trapjaw, and obviously not Teela's father, has a different role, and you can see all these different designs. But eventually he would get the power from the Power Sword, and he would become Man at Arms. It's got this sort of Samus Aran outfit here. I thought it was fantastic. Here are the different patterns. So this is Man at Arms, 1980. I'm going to put 1980 because if Robin and the Space Hoods would come out earlier than He-Man, then Man at Arms was planned for that. So I'm just going to play it safe and put 1980. I might, if you want to correct me, you can. Look at this. It's like Hulkbuster armor. And whether he's creating Wind Raiders or guns or laser guns or whatever, chasing Orko around to put him in a incinerator, Man at Arms is still the same character we all admire. So young or old, I think it's like the other masters. He gets a glow up from when he tames the Cosmic Master, Cosmic Texture. Oh yeah, they wanted to put him in pink. Anyway, here he is in pink. If you like this video, it's good enough for you. You see those icons below, you know what to do. And stay tuned for more character bios.